Alright, so this project is a project on the prisoner's dilemma. The goal of the project was to show that we could actually use artificial intelligence when it comes to the prisoner's dilemma. So, two of the major artificial intelligence methodologies we use was random numbers. Random numbers is an important key thing for artificial intelligence. Um, we also use tit for tat, which is another artificial intelligence strategy. So it takes information from another player. So I can give you the scenario right here. Let's go ahead and run this, or debug it first and then run. So let's check out the code first. So we have our random number. Our player AI is going to run that. So we first off we have our player points here, our variables, and we have our arrays to count what the player is doing and how much the player is getting on the scoreboard. So remember, one is the truth, zero is a lie, right? So we just have our round notification here. So let's say round one, round two, or interrogation. This should be question, so I'm gonna go ahead and change that later. So interrogation question, right? So you guys are gonna see how that plays a major role here. So player one choice, player one is gonna be the deciding factor for player two. Player one chooses. Um, our tit for tat scenario. This is where it becomes a game changer. So the tit for tat scenario is while y is greater than zero, player AI2 is going to choose whatever player AI1 did the last for interrogation number zero. So let's just say we're on interrogation number two, interrogation number one, and interrogation number one, player AI chose to lie. So player AI2 is going to copy that round and whatever that player chose for the next round. That's essentially how it's going to go. You're going to see how that all plays out. So player chooses after that, and then space between each interrogation. So you got the space. And here's our if else statement. So if both confess, these are the scenarios of what could happen, and these are the points that will be accumulated to the score. So this is what happens if they both confess, if they both lie, if one confesses or one you know doesn't confess. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and run it. Before we run it, we gotta debug it. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. So for interrogation number one, this is just random, right? So player one chose to tell the lie, and player two chose to tell a lie. So in the second interrogation question, player one chose to lie or tell the truth. Player one chose to tell the truth in question two, right? Or number two. Player two copied what player one did right here to interrogation number two. So you're gonna see the change. So when we get to interrogation number three, player two already knows that player one is lying, right? So he copies that and he lies in interrogation number three. Player one just chose to lie. So in interrogation number four, player two copies what player one did in number three to number four. And player one chose to tell the truth or tell a lie again. because 1 is the truth and 0 is the lie. So, and then interrogation number 5, player 2 copies from number 4, and then they both decide to lie. So they both get a equal amount of 36 years in prison. So we could go ahead and could get another scenario of tit for tat, right? So here's another scenario. The last one was 38 years, or 36, right? 36 years. Now this one, it says 66 years, right? Or 60 years, right? So in this situation, they've decided to lie for all of the interrogations, which is interesting. So the maximum prison sentence for them would be 60 years. Because if they both lie, they get the maximum time. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. So AI player always confess. So let's go ahead and come down here and let's comment this back, right? So let me take this out. AI player always confess. All right, so let's go ahead and run AI player always confess. So in this scenario, okay, is this running tit for tat? Okay. In this scenario, so this is the scenario with the random number, I believe. So random number is not okay. So there is like little flaws in this program which I can easily change. Let's see real quick. Okay, hold on. Is that a flaw? Let me see. Okay, that is not a flaw. Okay, I was looking at the wrong one. So this is not a flaw. Let's go ahead and so there's nothing wrong with this. So as you can see, all of them is number one is they're telling the truth for all of the interrogations. Both of them are telling the truth. So they're both confessing. So there's nothing wrong with that. I was just looking at something different. So let's go ahead and move down to where the AI player always lie. So both of them are going to lie in this scenario. So let's come down here. So comment this back. Go ahead and uncomment this. So it's going to be the same thing. It's just going to be opposite. So we're going to go ahead and just go ahead and run it. And then so in this scenario, they both get 10 years if they chose to tell a lie. Now, for this situation, since they both tell the lie, they get less years. No, they get more years for some reason. Okay, for some reason that's not right. Okay, both lies. Okay, hold on 1 second. So this is supposed to be confess sentences, and both players lie. So it always was 1. Okay, that's the problem right here. So the problem in this program is the random number. Let's see. Okay, no, that's okay. That's just the random. So that's not even it. So what's wrong here? But in this scenario, they would all get, because both of them are lying for the 5 rounds. So 12 times 5, that would be 60 years. So they would have 60 years. Okay, something is going wrong there. This is probably a logic error. So AI player random. So for the random, this is just purely the AI just working at it right here. So you just want to go ahead and show you guys that. So let's go ahead and run that. So in this scenario, they get 32 years. Alright, so we got multiple scenarios like that. Alright, so player 1 chose to lie. Player 2 chose to tell the truth. Player 1 will be sentenced to 32 years in prison, so they're both going to be sentenced. So let's go ahead and run another one, right? So in this case, this one gets 54 years. Player 1 gets 54 years, and player 2 gets 24 years. Let's go ahead and get a different scenario. Player 1 will get 6 years, and player 2 get 26 years. So that's basically the random AI just going at it, and they are making their own decisions there. So that's pretty much it for this project. Um, thank you guys for your time. Bye.